Are you eating what you've been told is healthy, yet your energy keeps dropping, your weight won't budge, and your body seems to be aging faster than it should? Here's a surprising truth. Many seniors who live past 100 aren't following trendy diets, counting calories, or obsessing over superfoods. In fact, what they eat every day is not what most people think. And that matters because after the age of 50, your body plays by different rules. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Aging is not just about time, it's about metabolism. It's about how well your blood sugar is controlled, how inflamed your tissues are, how resilient your immune system remains, and whether your cells can repair themselves efficiently. Longevity isn't won by doing more, it's won by doing the right things consistently. Most people believe that living to 100 requires extreme discipline, exotic supplements, or harsh restriction. But when researchers study centenarians, the people who live into their 90s and 100s, they see something very different. What stands out isn't perfection, it's metabolic simplicity, stable blood sugar, low chronic inflammation, a gut microbiome that works with the immune system instead of against it. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your body like a hybrid car. When it's young, it can switch easily between fuel sources, sugar, and fat. But as we age, that switching system gets rusty. Insulin rises, fat burning shuts down, inflammation creeps in, and suddenly the same foods that never caused problems before now accelerate aging. The mistake most seniors make is trying to eat clean without fixing this underlying metabolic issue. This is why just eating less or cutting fat often backfires. It raises stress hormones like cortisol, worsens muscle loss, and weakens immune defenses. Longevity doesn't come from deprivation. It comes from metabolic support. In today's talk, I want to show you what long-lived seniors actually eat every day and why it works at the cellular level. Not a diet, not a rigid plan, but a pattern that supports insulin sensitivity, feeds the gut, protects the blood vessels, and activates your body's natural longevity pathways. You'll learn why certain everyday foods quietly activate anti-aging biology, how these foods support your immune system and blood sugar at the same time, why consistency matters more than perfection, and how small daily choices compound into decades of extra life. And no, this is not about exotic berries, expensive powders, or extreme fasting. It's about foods you already recognize, used in a way that aligns with human biology. If this sounds helpful so far, consider subscribing to the channel. I post clear, science-driven content like this every day to help you optimize health naturally, without medications or hype. Let's start by outlining the 6 science-backed insights that explain why these everyday foods can quietly help you live longer, stronger, and sharper well into your later years. Here's what's really going on inside your body as you age. Your cells don't care whether you ate kale or a smoothie bowl. What matters most is how your blood sugar behaves after that food enters your system. Spikes and crashes in glucose are not just energy swings. These fluctuations trigger repeated bursts of insulin, the hormone that tells your body to store fat, oxidize less energy, and age faster. Over decades, this pattern drives inflammation, insulin resistance, cognitive decline, and even DNA damage. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your metabolism like a dam holding back a river. When blood sugar rises slowly and gradually, the dam gently releases water. Your body uses glucose cleanly and efficiently, but when blood sugar spikes quickly, it's like opening a floodgate. Your metabolic system gets overwhelmed, stress hormones surge, and the body reacts defensively. Not in a rejuvenating way, but in a survival and storage mode. What the research shows is that centenarians and long-lived populations consistently avoid those spikes. That's not because they're perfect. It's because the foods they eat every day release glucose slowly and evenly into the bloodstream. This protects insulin sensitivity, a cornerstone of metabolic health as we age. Whiteboard-style breakdown. Visualize this. Fast glucose spike, sharp high insulin demand. Fat storage, plus inflammation, gentle glucose curve. Stable insulin, cellular repair, plus energy balance. Stable blood sugar supports healthy mitochondria, cardiovascular health, and brain function, key elements of longevity. This principle isn't just theory. Studies show that diets rich in high-fiber plant foods like legumes, lentils, beans, chickpeas have a low glycemic impact and improve long-term glucose control. Similarly, non-starchy vegetables, whole grains, nuts, seeds, healthy fats, and lean proteins further slow glucose release and reduce insulin demand. Here's the root cause angle. Stable blood sugar reduces chronic inflammation, protects blood vessel integrity, and keeps the brain shielded from glycation, the process where excess sugar binds to proteins and damages tissue over time. In effect, you lower the wear and tear on your body's systems. Now let's get very practical, because longevity isn't just something to think about, it's something to do every day. Daily eating protocol to stabilize blood sugar. This is not a fad diet. It's a metabolic framework rooted in physiology. 1. Start with protein at breakfast. Protein triggers hormones that stabilize glucose and reduce post-meal spikes. Example, 2 eggs plus sautéed spinach plus a handful of almonds. This slows digestion and helps your cells use energy without big insulin surges. 2. Favor high-fiber vegetables with every meal. Vegetables like broccoli, leafy greens, peppers, cauliflower. Fiber slows glucose absorption and feeds beneficial gut bacteria linked to longevity metabolism. 3. Include legumes. Daily lentils, black beans, chickpeas. These are low GI, slow carbohydrates that balance blood sugar and keep you full. Centenarians across global blue zones often eat legumes daily. 4. Add healthy fats and omega-3s. Avocado, nuts, seeds, olive oil, fatty fish, salmon, sardines, reduce inflammation and improve insulin sensitivity. 5. Choose whole grains strategically. If you eat grains, make them whole, oats, barley, quinoa. They release glucose slowly versus white bread or refined carbs. 6. Avoid high sugar drinks and refined snacks. And liquid sugars enter your bloodstream fast, triggering insulin surges your aging cells don't handle well. Real world example. Instead of breakfast cereal plus orange juice, try Greek yogurt plus chia seeds plus berries plus walnuts. Why? The fats, protein, and fiber together blunt glucose spikes and keep insulin in a healthy range. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I post content like this every day because when you understand the physiology, not just the food, your choices become powerful tools for aging slowly and living well. As seniors get older, the immune system doesn't just fight infections, it becomes the gatekeeper of your whole metabolism. It decides whether your body stays resilient or slips into a chronic low-grade inflammatory state, a phenomenon scientists call inflammaging. This low-grade inflammation is a root cause of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, arthritis, neurodegeneration, and accelerated aging itself. What most people miss is this. Your immune system isn't separate from your metabolism. It's tightly intertwined with your gut, your blood vessels, your hormone balance, and even how your cells repair damage. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your immune system like a controlled burn in a forest. When it's working right, it clears out the underbrush, removing damaged cells, protecting you from infections, and minimizing long-term damage. But when it's chronically activated, like a wildfire that never stops, it burns through healthy tissue instead of clearing dead brush. That's what chronic inflammation does. It slowly erodes your health from the inside out. What the research shows is that regular consumption of certain everyday foods modulates immune function, dialing inflammation down while boosting cellular defenses. These foods provide vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and bioactive compounds that support both innate and adaptive immunity while inhibiting inflammatory pathways that contribute to chronic disease. Let's break it down in whiteboard style. Antioxidants neutralize free radicals. Free radicals damage cells and trigger inflammatory pathways. Foods high in antioxidants protect cells and reduce that damage. Polyphenols and flavonoids modulate immune signaling. These plant compounds help regulate inflammation and promote immune cell communication. Omega-3 fats support anti-inflammatory responses. Omega-3s shift your immune system away from chronic inflammatory patterns toward resolution and repair. This isn't theory, It's grounded in thousands of nutritional studies showing that dietary patterns rich in plant foods, healthy fats, and lean proteins are associated with lower inflammatory markers like CRP, IL-6, and TNF-A. The foods seniors should eat. Every day to support immune health and damp inflammation. Here's the cornerstone of practical, evidence-based nutrition for aging. Well, 1. Berries and citrus fruits, colorful antioxidants. Blueberries, strawberries, oranges, and kiwi are not just fruits. They're rich in vitamin C, anthocyanins, flavonoids, and polyphenols that protect immune cells and reduce oxidative inflammation. Daily tip: add a mix of berries or a whole citrus fruit with breakfast. 2. Leafy greens and cruciferous veggies, nutrient powerhouses. Spinach, kale, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and chard are loaded with vitamins A, C, E, and K, folate, fiber, and phytochemicals that support both immune function and gut health, which itself is the foundation of immune resilience. Harvard Health Daily Tip: fill half your plate with these at lunch or dinner. 3. Fatty fish, omega-3, anti-inflammatory fats. Salmon, sardines, tuna, and mackerel are concentrated sources of EPA and DHA, fats that directly reduce inflammatory signals and support healthy white blood cell activity. Harvard Health Daily to Weekly Protocol: aim for 2 to 3 servings per week. If you don't eat fish, consider algae-based omega-3s. 4. Nuts and seeds, vitamin E, zinc, and phytochemicals. Almonds, walnuts, sunflower seeds, and pumpkin seeds provide vitamin E and zinc, key micronutrients for immune cell proliferation and antioxidant defense. ET protein. Daily tip: a small handful as a snack or sprinkled on salads adds consistent benefit. 5. Olive oil and spices, oleocanthal, curcumin, and gingerol. Extra virgin olive oil contains oleocanthal, a compound that mimics natural anti-inflammatory action. Turmeric, curcumin, and gingerol add powerful immune modulating and inflammation-reducing effects when used regularly. Yahoo Health Daily Tip: use olive oil as your main cooking oil and add turmeric, black pepper to soups, stews, and dressings. 6. Fermented foods and probiotics, gut immune axis support. Yogurt with live cultures, kefir, sauerkraut, and kimchi promote beneficial bacteria that interact with immune cells and influence inflammation thresholds. Independent Medical Alliance Daily Tip: 1-2 cup of fermented foods with lunch or dinner. Why? This matters for longevity. When your immune system is balanced, not overactivated by chronic inflammation, your body can repair damaged cells more efficiently, protect your blood vessels and brain from oxidative stress, maintain insulin sensitivity, reduce risk of chronic disease, support metabolic homeostasis and quality of life. This is not about immune boosting in the vague sense. It's about immune regulation, which is essential for aging well. Your gut isn't just a hollow tube that digests food. It's a living ecosystem of trillions of microbes that acts like a metabolic organ. This microbiome doesn't just help with digestion, it communicates with your immune system, modulates inflammation, influences your metabolism, and even affects your brain through the gut-brain axis. As research increasingly shows, the composition and diversity of your gut microbes shift as you age, and these changes are among the strongest biological markers of healthy versus unhealthy aging. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your gut microbiome like a garden. A diverse, well-tended garden sprouts a variety of beneficial flowers and plants that enrich the soil, control pests, and create a resilient ecosystem. But when the garden loses diversity and gets overrun by weeds, it becomes fragile, less productive, and more prone to disease. In the same way, a diverse and balanced gut microbiome supports longevity, while a less diverse, imbalanced microbiome accelerates inflammation, weakens immune defenses, and increases risk for age-related diseases. Here's what the science shows. Healthy aging is associated with greater microbial diversity. Centenarians and long-lived individuals tend to have richer bacterial communities and higher levels of beneficial microbes like Bifidobacterium, Lactobacillus, Akkermansia, and others that produce metabolites beneficial for health. Aging is associated with dysbiosis, a loss of beneficial microbes and reduced short-chain fatty acid, SCFA, production, Compounds that feed colon cells, strengthen the intestinal barrier, quiet inflammation, and support metabolic health. Your gut flora influences chronic inflammation, insulin sensitivity, and immune regulation, all foundational elements of metabolic health and longevity. Now let's break this down in whiteboard style. Microbial diversity, phrase resilience. A diverse community can adapt to dietary changes, prevent harmful species from thriving, and support healthy immune signaling. Short-chain fatty acids, SCFAs, like butyrate feed colon cells, protect gut barrier integrity, and reduce systemic inflammation. The very processes that drive inflammaging. Prebiotic fibers feed beneficial microbes. Without fiber, beneficial bacteria starve, diversity declines, and harmful species can overgrow. This is not abstract. Studies show that dietary patterns rich in fiber and polyphenols, like those found in plant foods and Mediterranean diets, actively promote microbial diversity and health-associated metabolic profiles. Daily Microbiome Protocol for Aging Well. This is about choosing everyday foods that feed your internal garden so that it supports your metabolism, immune system, and longevity mechanisms naturally. 1. Eat high-fiber foods. Every day, fiber is the primary prebiotic fuel for beneficial bacteria. Aim for at least 25 to 35 g a day from whole foods like legumes, oats, barley, artichokes, berries, broccoli, and leafy greens. Resistant starches, e.g., cooled cooked potatoes or beans, are especially good at feeding butyrate producers. Fiber-rich patterns are linked with better microbiome diversity and healthier aging outcomes. 2. Enjoy fermented foods regularly. Fermented foods like plain yogurt with live cultures, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, and miso add beneficial probiotic strains directly into your gut ecosystem. Regular fermented food intake is associated with increased bifidobacteria and lactobacilli, species linked with reduced inflammation and better immune regulation. 3. Choose polyphenol-rich plant foods. Berries, cocoa, green tea, coffee, olive oil, nuts, and spices like turmeric contain polyphenols that act like fertilizer for beneficial microbes. Polyphenols are metabolized by microbes into compounds that support anti-inflammatory pathways, a synergy between diet and microbiome. 4. Eat a Mediterranean-style pattern. This pattern, rich in vegetables, fruits, whole grains, beans, nuts, and olive oil, is one of the strongest dietary predictors of microbiome diversity and healthy aging. 5. Hydrate and move. Daily water supports bowel motility and microbial metabolism, and physical activity itself has been shown to promote microbial diversity in older adults. Real-life example for a daily microbiome boost. Instead of a low-fiber breakfast cereal, try Greek yogurt with berries, chia seeds, and a sprinkle of nuts. Why? Yogurt delivers probiotics. Berries and chia seeds deliver fiber and polyphenols, feeding the beneficial microbial community that helps regulate inflammation and metabolic health. After the age of 50, one of the fastest accelerators of aging is muscle loss, a process called sarcopenia. And this isn't just about strength or mobility. Muscle is a metabolic organ. It's where most of your glucose is disposed of after meals. It's where insulin sensitivity is maintained. And it's deeply connected to balance, immunity, and even brain health. This is where many seniors get confused. Some are told to eat less protein to protect the kidneys. Others are told to eat as much protein as possible to stay strong. Both approaches miss the physiology. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of muscle like a metabolic savings account. When you're younger, you can make irregular deposits and still stay solvent. But as you age, withdrawals increase from stress, inflammation, inactivity, and hormonal changes. If you don't make regular, high-quality deposits, the account shrinks fast. What the research shows is that long-lived seniors don't overeat protein. They eat the right protein at the right time, consistently. Here's the key concept. Aging muscles become less responsive to protein, a phenomenon called anabolic resistance. That means small, low-quality protein doses don't effectively stimulate muscle repair anymore. You need enough of the right amino acids, especially leucine, to flip the muscle building switch. But here's the longevity nuance most people miss. Chronically overstimulating growth pathways like mTOR with constant high protein intake may accelerate aging processes. Centenarians seem to strike a balance, adequate protein for repair without constant excess. Let's break this down whiteboard style. Too little protein, muscle loss, insulin resistance, frailty, too much protein, all day, constant growth signaling, less cellular cleanup, right amount spaced properly, muscle maintenance, plus longevity balance. This balance allows muscle preservation without shutting down autophagy, the body's cellular recycling system that clears damaged cells and supports longevity. The Longevity Protein Protocol for Seniors. This is where theory becomes practical. 1. Focus on protein. Quality. First, high-quality proteins provide essential amino acids in bioavailable forms. Eggs, fish, especially sardines, salmon, Greek yogurt or kefir legumes combined with whole grains, moderate amounts of poultry. These foods support muscle repair and metabolic health without excessive inflammatory burden. 2. Hit a leucine threshold at meals. Leucine is the amino acid that signals muscle protein synthesis. Instead of grazing on protein all day, aim for adequate protein at 2 to 3 meals, enough to activate repair. Practical example: breakfast, eggs or Greek yogurt. Lunch, lentils with vegetables and olive oil. Dinner, fish with greens and beans. This pattern supports muscle without overstimulating growth pathways. 3. Avoid constant snacking on protein. Eating protein every 2 hours keeps insulin and mTOR elevated. Seniors who age well tend to eat structured meals, not continuous intake. 4. Pair protein with resistance movement. Protein without movement is only half the signal. Even light resistance, bands, body weight, or slow-controlled movements dramatically improves how your body uses protein. Think of exercise as opening the door. Protein is what walks through it. 5. Don't fear plant protein. Centenarians often get a significant portion of protein from plants. Legumes, nuts, seeds, and whole grains come packaged with fiber and polyphenols that slow aging pathways while still supporting muscle when eaten consistently. Real-world example: instead of protein bars and shakes all day, try 2 to 3 real meals with high-quality protein, vegetables, and healthy fats. Why? Because longevity isn't about maximizing growth. It's about maintaining function while preserving repair mechanisms. This is how seniors stay strong without accelerating biological aging. Aging is not primarily the result of new damage. It's the accumulation of old damage that never gets cleaned up. Damaged proteins, dysfunctional mitochondria, senescent cells, and unhealthy blood vessels slowly pile up over decades. The people who live to 100 aren't avoiding damage entirely. They're better at repairing and clearing it. This is where most nutrition advice completely misses the mark. Many people eat all day long, constantly activating growth and storage signals without ever giving the body a chance to switch into repair mode. But your body has built-in systems designed to clean house, if you allow them to turn on. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your body like a city. Growth is building new roads and buildings. Repair is garbage collection, maintenance, and replacing broken infrastructure. If you only build and never clean, the city collapses, no matter how many new structures you add. Longevity depends less on constant building and more on efficient maintenance. Here's what the research shows. Long-lived individuals tend to regularly activate biological repair pathways like autophagy, the process where cells recycle damaged components, and maintain healthy angiogenesis control, meaning their blood vessels grow when needed and shut down when they're not. Whiteboard style, it looks like this. Constant eating, insulin always elevated, repair system suppressed, periods of metabolic rest, insulin drops, repair systems activate certain foods signal, clean up and protect, not store and grow. This is not about starvation, it's about rhythm. Autophagy increases when insulin and amino acid signaling are temporarily lowered. That allows cells to identify damaged parts and recycle them into usable energy. This process is strongly linked to improved metabolic health, reduced inflammation, better brain function, and longer lifespan in multiple species. What's fascinating is that centenarians often activate these systems without calling it fasting. They do it through how and when they eat. Now let's talk about the foods that quietly support this biology. Certain everyday foods contain polyphenols and bioactive compounds that act like gentle stress signals, telling your cells to become more resilient. This concept is called hormesis, small, beneficial stress that strengthens the system. Examples include olive oil polyphenols, green tea, catechins, cocoa, flavonols, turmeric, and ginger compounds, berries, and colorful vegetables. These compounds activate cellular defense pathways like AMPK and sirtuins, systems associated with longevity and metabolic efficiency. Here's the key insight. Longevity